I am a man. What does that mean? To be a man isn't to seek a reputation of being self-reliant, independent, and physically tough. A man isn't one to show no fear and no emotion. A man is he who is capable of love. Someone who will stick up for what is right even if others disagree. He is someone who cares about his family, someone who cares about others around him, and most importantly, someone who cares about himself. This ever-silenced thought of self-care within the man has been subconsciously frowned upon for eternity. This is why I'm here, right here, to spread the message of the importance of men's mental health and the impact it has on each and every one of us. I'm sure all of us here are familiar with having bad days. Do you ever just sit in your car, on your bed, in the bathroom, in the living room, and hold in your tears because you're so stressed, or lost, or confused, or hurt with whatever is bothering you in your life? Perhaps you're just ready to give up. You'd be surprised with how many men do just that. But when he shows his face again, he looks perfectly fine, unbothered, and he still manages to smile and go about his business like nothing happened. You see, over time, that pressure builds. It doesn't disappear, and resilience isn't always the answer. I'd like to introduce you all today to a man who isn't here with us, but is forever in our hearts, Greg. Greg was everyone's second father, a role model and the best father his children could have asked for. He was healthy, he had a beautiful wife, lovely children, a stable job, and he had just bought a beautiful new home. Superficially, everything was going for him. At least, that's the energy he yielded. No one thought anything less of the man he was. I was 8 years old when Greg took his life. After all the days of resisting, he didn't make it home after deciding to walk back one night. Depression. Depression was something that no one, not even his closest friends, saw in Greg, despite the fact that his very own father and brother had previously taken their own lives. He was clearly at high risk, but the fact is, in those days, mental illness was unspoken of. It was always just, toughen up, be a man, or harden up mate, we've all had a tough day. So it was normal to hide the fact that you were suffering from the so-called disease. It was normal to refuse to take the medication. It was normal to refuse to go to therapy. It was normal to just cop it and not talk about it. Greg got no help. None at all, and that one rough day was enough to lose everything. Awareness has improved since the 2000s. We have programs like Lifeline, Beyond Blue, the Black Dog Institute. We have dedicated campaigns to help raising awareness, like Are You OK Day and Movember. But essentially, it simply isn't enough. It's not stopping the cliche of being a tough, self-reliant, independent man. It didn't stop the fact that a great percentage of the 3,046 registered suicide deaths in 2018 in Australia were due to mental health related disorders. It didn't stop suicide being the leading cause for premature mortality. It didn't stop suicide being the 10th leading cause for death for males. Suicide statistics aren't just stats, team. They link right down to the source, to those people's mental state. Let me tell you, anyone who is willing to give up and take away their own lives has to have something going on in their mind that shouldn't be there. Would you agree? In fact, 76% of all those deaths in 2018 were men. You know what? That's also a statistic not to be overlooked. We need to promote self-care for men. We need to get rid of that be tough and suck it up cliche that is engraved in every single man's head. I cannot stress more, it is getting better, but it just isn't enough. We need to start from birth. We need to teach our sons how to be proper men. And I'm not saying put it in the school curriculum and have separate how to be a man classes just for boys. The responsibility is up to my generation, us, our generation, to set that standard to the generation we will be creating and looking after. It is a fundamental in everyone's well-being to have good connections and to have people to trust, and as generations keep becoming, awareness should get better to a point where it would be normal to have a talk to those people you trust and love. Not everything can be done with that solo mentality. I have another story, a story about a hero. This hero, an everyday Uber driver in Melbourne, was doing his job. He picked me up one day and was in quite some shock. He had just previously picked up a client and gets told to take them to a bridge. On a side note, it is Uber regulations to always obey your clients and take them to where they want to go. But as the ride went on, the client in the back seat started calling their loved ones and saying goodbyes and grieving. This Uber driver decided to pass the bridge and take his client to the hospital. He saved a life that day. My point is, be the Uber driver. No, I'm not telling you all to sign up for a rideshare app and look for signs of suicidal thoughts in all your clients. I'm telling you to gain that sense of awareness and not be afraid to have a chat. All these awareness institutes say that a chat can save lives, and they are nothing short from being wrong. A chat is taking a little action which leads to greater effects. Be that Uber driver. Take those little actions that count, and own your actions. It should be second nature to approach someone who seems down. I am a man, at least that's what I thrive to be. I thrive to love my family, my peers, my elders, and I live up to the fundamentals of living a healthy, well-rounded life. I have many years ahead of me, and I dream of a reality where manhood is represented by love, a level of openness and self-care. A message to all men. You are some of the most resilient, overlooked and in the mind underappreciated to go through so much. You are the glue that holds everything and everyone together. Your very presence is power. When you speak it resonates, and yet your silence is deafening. Remember this, when you can't win the day, just keep winning the moment. It starts from the inside out. Stay strong, brothers, and remember, if it gets too much, just talk. You're not the only one. Thank you.
That's so funny. Ben, all you need to do.
At least that's what I thrive to be. I thrive to love my family, my peers, my elders, and I live up to the fundamentals of living a healthy, well-rounded life. I have many years ahead of me, and I dream of a reality where manhood is represented by love, a level of openness and self-care. A message to all men. You are some of the most resilient, overlooked and in the mind underappreciated to go through so much. You are the glue that holds everything and everyone together. Your very presence is power. When you speak it resonates, and yet your silence is deafening. Remember this, when you can't win the day, just keep winning the moment. It starts from the inside out. Stay strong, brothers, and remember, if it gets too much, just talk. You're not the only one. Thank you.
That's so funny. Ben, all you need to do.
I am a man. At least that's what I thrive to be. I thrive to love my family, my peers, my elders, and I live up to the fundamentals of living a healthy, well-rounded life.